something?
Is there a tab? It took.
No,
I
we're
also
going to show it to us.
All right, 7.3 multivariate linear systems
Can you open this?
and row operations.
Oh, that's long. Why can't you open it?
Yeah, so we're gonna have to rewrite the title now. It won't fit.
This is what I talked about last night.
So the first part of this section is this chapter is talking about solving systems of equations by graphing, substitution, elimination, all that fun stuff. But this section is going to solve them using matrices. So an augmented matrix.
We're doing those again.
Is a matrix that comes from
matrices.
a system of equations.
Dang it.
We're just skipping the section that's adding and subtracting and multiplying and whatever.
Oh, that's the best part. Just I hate these.
Well, this is all on your calculator, so.
These are the big boxes.
Oh,
So if you have the system x minus 2y plus z equals 7, 3x plus 5y minus 2z equals 4, and 4x minus 3y plus 3z equals 2. The augmented matrix that comes from that is 1, negative 2, 1, 7, 3, 5, negative 2, 4, 4, negative 3, 3, 2. And so the stuff that's on this side of the dotted line is your coefficient matrix. And then these are the solutions. Okay, the dotted line doesn't have to be there, but it just shows you that that's where the equal sign is in the equation. If a piece was missing, we put a 0 in for it.
Do you have to give your lesson plans to Mr. Law every week?
I'm supposed to.
I was just wondering because if you change, because for any teacher, that they can plan ahead, but something can come up and you don't all always go the same way.
Yeah. So sometimes you just have to I don't know. I'm really bad at giving them, or this year I've been really bad at giving them to him. But.
He probably understands because you have to make fun of it.
Yeah.
Because you have a who?
It's not like I don't, a lot of times they're, written down, but I just, forget. Well, Miss Patton turns hers in at the end of the week, for,
After she did it?
yeah. She'll, write it as she does it. He doesn't really care. The only reason he wants our lesson plans is so that if we're out, he knows, where we're at in the material. So that, if he came in here and asked you where you were at, and you were like, oh, we're in chapter 1, he would be like, no, you're actually in chapter 5 or whatever.
I remember this now. It's making sense. Do you know who's preaching today? I think it's
Nathan.
Just double check.
All right. Row echelon form
Oh yeah, where'd it come from?
of a matrix.
Oh. You actually got some appreciation.
Well, usually I get flowers.
A matrix is in row echelon form.
Oh, wow. I took a drink out of my water bottle and the little thing wasn't flipped up, so I was just sitting here
I definitely do that a lot. If the following conditions
I'm so upset. I wish we had gotten ourselves water bottles.
are satisfied,
I know.
I haven't even seen any of them using them.
I did. Anna Kipke's was in her the compartment of her car. But Mr. Sack said that stuff was getting stuck on his vinyl. And I was like, well, you're not supposed to put it in things that sticky things. I'm like, what are you putting it in? Because that doesn't normally happen to people. So I don't know what you're doing, but I think it's user error. He was like, okay.
Well, we all got different colors, and I was surprised I got purple. Because she doesn't know our favorite colors.
What color did Glenn get?
Pink. Hilarious.
Should have rainbow.
I know.
Oh my gosh,
That's
talking-
terrible.
No, okay, hold on.
The
No.
funny thing though is that Stacey knows her mom.
Okay. But also, we're talking about the rainbow. Because we're talking about Noah's Ark, right, in elementary chapel. So then we're talking about, like, the rainbow,
And we're
you
trying
know,
to
the
make
promise.
it interactive.
Talking about the promise, and one of our questions was like, does anyone know what the rainbow stands for? Then we were like, no, we have to add in the Bible. Because there's no telling what someone would raise their hand and say.
That is true.
So you know what the rainbow stands for?
You say, in the story of Noah's Ark, what does the rainbow symbolize?
Yeah. That's a better way
I
of
still
saying
feel like it's gonna go bad. It's good. We're practicing after school today.
If you need me to be a little kid.
Oh, wait, that's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, field trip.
Oh. I was like, what?
You're not gonna be here tomorrow, are
Aww.
Who, me? No,
Yeah.
I am. We're not going camping anymore.
you? Who's that?
Because of the rain.
Rainy.
Yes.
I sent it to my...
I'm so upset.
Oh.
It's literally the third camping trip we've had
Dang
to
it, I
cancel.
forgot my money.
I'm so upset.
I can get it to you by tomorrow.
That's fine.
I was like, what, Taylor? You owe me money?
No.
You don't ask questions, Joey. Just accept.
Somebody just starts handing me money, then I mean...
Me too.
I mean, question it.
Who gets money for what?
You're so late.
We're going.
We're going to a movie.
Right, tomorrow?
Yeah.
Is everyone going? Like I
So
said
exciting.
before. Oh, I can't say that right now.
Abort mission until this is done.
Yeah.
All right, so row echelon form, it has to have the following conditions. There has to be a row consisting entirely of zeros. If there are any rows consisting entirely of zeros, they have to be at the bottom of the matrix. Otherwise, there has to be a 1 in them. The first entry in any row has to be a 1 if it's not 0. You'll see what I'll show you a thing in a minute. And then the last one is that the column subscript of the leading 1 entries increases as the row subscript increases. So an example of what this would look like is if you have...
I thought I was gonna get abused.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just kidding. It was really scary though.
So a row of all zeros has to be at the bottom. The first entry in any row has to be a 1 that's like not 0. So then like it's okay to have the 4 and the 3 here afterwards, as long as the first one was a 1. And then the last thing, the column subscript, it sounds confusing, but it just means that if I had a 1 here, I couldn't, or like, let me rephrase. If these two rows were flipped, I couldn't have the 1 here and then a 1 here. It has to be like going down, like as you go across to the right.
Wait. Okay, so the bottom has to be all zeros. Okay.
Well, if there is a row of all zeros, it has to be at the bottom. There does not have to be a row of all zeros.
Okay. So then, if you have anything that's not a 1 or a 0, you have to have at least you have to have a 1.
There has to be a 1 first in that row.
Okay, so if it were all zeros, it doesn't matter. Or like 0, like the second one is like 0, 1. Like that's fine.
Yeah, like I could have had a 3 right here, and that would have been fine.
There just has to be a 1 first.
The 1 has to be the first non-zero entry in the row.
Oh, okay.
So like if that one was
So
a
in the
3,
top,
can't
if
be
it
that.
began with like 3, 4, 0, 1.
It would not be.
Whose are those?
Brianna's.
How was the graduation tomorrow?
It was good. It was really short. I was like, the guy gave up and spoke when he did like a little speech thing, and he came up and spoke And like I was like, this is so weird. Like he has not talked about like God once. I was like, and like they didn't pray or anything. I was like, wait, their co-op is not a Christian co-op. This is literally, it was so funny. It was really funny because like I originally thought that their co-op was Christian, but it definitely was not. And the dude was just talking about like, just, like your mindset and stuff. And I was like, okay. It was just funny. But it was really short. And like because they're all homeschooled, they had the parents give them their diploma.
Oh
So like they called the parents up and then the
Yeah, that's how my
It was
high school best friend, that was how her stuff was.
I should never. I will never appreciate my mom more for stop being homeschooling me.
Dude, I'm about to take all these nails off. I hate them.
Alright, so then this is row echelon form up here, okay, where you can have non-zero things after, before the final column. You can have a row of all zeros. Reduced row echelon form has to be in this where you have ones on the diagonal, and then the last like column is what your solutions are. So when you have something like this, you can read this off as x is equal to 3, because this would be your x column, y column, z column. Y equals 2, z equals 5.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool.
On your calculator, the function that you'll use is called RREF, and then it'll ask you to put in a matrix box. And then it will do this for you. So from I'm going to scroll back up for a second. So from this, okay, the system of equations, to solve this, if we put this in and then hit RREF, it would solve the matrix for you. Your result would look like this, and then the answers would be written like that or in an ordered triple.
That's
44 out of 15. I was like, I got a 3-4.
And you can do like the 2 equations, 2 unknowns, 4 equations, 4 unknown, because your calculator will do it all for you. And that's also kind of why I skipped to this section, because if you were to like take your SATs or ACTs or whatever, and you were asked to find, like, to solve, if it's on a calculator part, you could just do it this way.
The thing I'm most worried about is not understanding the directions.
No, you'll understand the directions.
I'm
Well,
scared.
yes.
Is there a lot of math?
It depends. When you get there, they'll tell you. I think it's common knowledge, but there's 5 sections.
Of math?
No.
No, there's
in
5
general.
sections, but someone
Like,
told me
remember
that.
how the PSATs, we had, like, reading, language, and, like...
It's like the standardized.
Mel said that her
it's a lot,
group
like...
didn't do section 5, and another group did.
Yeah.
And she was confused, and apparently section 5 just doesn't count at all or something. I don't really know. It was weird.
It is weird.
I hope my group does section 5. The more the better. Is it hard? Probably. Well, anyway, I just hope that we do
It
it 'cause, like,
changes. It's never the same.
Oh,
then it must not count at all. Then what's the point of doing it?
Alright, this last thing is just to kind of help you know what's happening in this RREF. Okay, the RREF, when it's reducing the rows, it's actually doing elementary row operations, and so I'm going to write what they are just so like it's kind of more of a fun fact for you. I took a class and had to do these by hand rather than with a calculator, so I'm just fun fact of whatever, but I'm not going to make you do them by hand. Alright, so you can interchange any 2 rows. So you can take row 3 and row 1 and swap them. It's one thing you're allowed to do. 2, you can multiply all elements of a row by a non-zero real number. So you can take a row and you can multiply it by 3, or you can multiply by 1/3 if you need to cancel something and all that. And lastly, you can add a multiple of one row to any other row. So I can multiply row 3 by 2 and add it to row 2. because the goal is canceling stuff out. But rather than you having to do all of that and try to figure it out all by hand, your calculator just is capable of doing it for you. So. But that way you kind of know what's happening, and it's not just like, oh, complete magic that your calculator's doing. Because, I mean, it kind of is, but I took a whole class on all of this. It's like a whole semester on. It was fun. I don't know. I enjoyed it. All right.
I don't. I just sit there and I listen to them yell at me, and then I go home and I tell my mom I'm quitting dance, and she looks at me like I'm ridiculous, and then I go in the next time and I'm like acting like I'm gonna say something really good, and then I just don't say anything. So, yeah.
You just have bobby pins in your
Backpack?
that's nice.
Which do all.
Oh, sure.
All right, so most of these instructions, they're like, solve the system of equations by substitution or elimination or whatever, but we're not going to do that.
Awesome.
So you don't have to worry about the instructions. All right, number 2, 3x minus y plus 2z equals negative 2. Y plus 3z equals 3, and 2z is equal to 4. So we're going to use the RREF, okay, but we first need to draw our matrix. So we have a few like missing pieces along the way. So for the first one, it's going to be 3, negative 1, 2, negative 2, and then I'm missing x in the second one, so 0, then 1, then 3, 3, and then I'm missing x and y, so 0, 0, 2, and 4.
That's not hard at all.
And then do y'all remember how to type these in your calculator?
No.
Okay. So on your calculator, there is a matrix button. Okay, it's the 4th button down above the x to the negative 1.
Oh.
So hit second, and then that button will bring up matrix, and then you'll need to go over to edit. Okay, and remember it goes in order rows then columns. So we have 3 rows, 4 columns, so it's a 3 by 4 matrix.
Oh, and then you just change the numbers.
Yep, and then you just type in the numbers and hit enter after each one.
Should I take all the nails off? Or? One of them fell off. Bobby.
I was gonna do that, but then I said not to.
Then what?
So this is, I'm just going to do this to label these. So this is step 1. Step 2 is going to be clicking RREF of what is going to be your matrix A or whatever you put it into. And then we're going to get step 3, which is going to be our answer. So I'm just going to set this up. Okay, so now you're going to go to hit second matrix again. Okay, and you're going to go over to the one that says math. Okay, and then you've got to scroll down till you see, Joelle, I guess you got your calculator off the floor.
I did. Yeah, I forgot.
I was really worried when you went to chemistry yesterday that you were going to need it, but I was not about to interrupt that. So I was like,
No, I didn't.
if she needs it, she can just come back.
Yeah, no. I
Because
didn't.
she did. We were doing the
I
lab
made
and we're
those
like, oh,
things
it's also
the
on the math to
option.
make sure we're right. And
Which
Joelle's
we-
like, well, I can't. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
All right, so option B is RREF, okay? There is one that's just REF, but that's not the one you need. You need RREF. So you'll hit that, and then you'll have to hit second matrix, and then the name of it, which was matrix A. So it should look like this on your calculator when you're done. Or, well, if you use B, that's fine. Then hit enter, and it should bring up something that looks like this. 1, 0, 0, negative 3. 0, 1, 0, negative 3. 0, 0, 1, 2. So then your solution, because it is a system of equations, we write it as an ordered triple. So your solution, x is equal to negative 3, y equals negative 3, and z equals 2. So our ordered triple is negative 3, 2. And that's your answer.
Okay, this is easy.
What in the... Please tell me, somebody sees this, right? This is what it fixed it to.
Oh, I
Oh,
drew a
no,
line
it's
and it
raining.
made it a box. I like literally one line held it and it made it a box, and I was like, what is happening here?
Taylor, don't you have to go in a second? What time do you leave?
About 9:05.
Who sits at
Wait,
this
once I
desk?
get it here, what do I do?
That desk?
So you're gonna get out of it.
Ariel.
Okay, and then you're
What
gonna
is
go
that?
to
It's like
second
pink gold.
matrix.
It's what?
It looks like pink
Math.
gold.
You're gonna scroll down. You're gonna get to B. That's R. Yeah. And you're gonna hit enter.
Ew. Over you.
Again.
That
And
was
then
my
you said it's C.
Oh my gosh, that's on the video.
I know. But, oh
You,
well.
you couldn't hear it. There's no way you could hear that because I barely heard it.
That's good.
Was that necessary?
Probably hear that though.
Probably.
What is wrong with you?
I also realized I didn't stop the video after the notes and start a new one, but it's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're tired.
I do, but why?
Just wondering.
Well, usually somebody doesn't ask that unless they need it.
Why don't need it?
All right, so set up the matrix.
So excited for chapel today?
Oh, you were showing weird.
I know.
Oh, I mean, what's your name? Joelle. We literally chose this. We did. We chose
No,
this.
I was appointed to you guys.
No. You
Unless
made it
the Lord
appointed-
did that, I don't know.
Yeah.
You guys love me. Your life would be so boring without me.
All right, so this one, the instructions say to use elimination, but again, we're just using the matrix operation. So you have to just go type it in again.
Type that baby in.
Oh, not a 1 by 1. Nope, 3 by 4.
Wait, what's that song that's like? Bow, 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 bow.
You need to stop.
None of them. There's no song like that.
There is. Look at that fish.
Huh.
This man, this fish.
That's a bit interesting.
It is raining. It's sad and gloomy. Hey, yesterday was my half birthday. Oh no, it wasn't.
What?
What?
That's your dog birthday.
It's my 3-month
I think mine's in May.
No, I got my license 2 days today. I got it today, a year ago.
All right, is this what everybody got?
Do we usually
Uh-huh.
do decimals?
Yes.
All right, if this happens, it means something is wrong and it means there's no solution.
If
I was
what
about-
happens, there's zero,
So
zero,
these have to be zeros. So for row reduced echelon form,
one. Oh, right. I remember now.
it has to be the ones on the diagonal and everything else has to be zeros minus the last column. And since this one is not, there's no solution.
I love these. I have no focus.
All right, the only other thing we have says to find a row echelon form of the matrix. It's the only other thing we're doing. There's two things. We're going to do a row echelon form and then a reduced row one that is given to you. It's like a 5 by 5. And then that's it. So this is an REF one. So the matrix that's given to us is 1, 2, -3, -3, -6, 10, -2, -4, 7. So you're going to go put that in, and then the option that's above the RREF is just an REF, and that's the one you need for this one.
And it's a 3 by 3.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh.
Forgot that was me. Oh,
What?
I have to do it myself first.
I figured it.
So we're using REF instead of.
Yep, so REF for this one. Somehow I selected all.
Hello.
How do you get out?
Taylor, I'm just doing one more thing.
How do you get out of this to go do that?
Second clip.
That would make sense. Thank you.
I'm just gonna do one RREF, Taylor, and then we'll be done.
Then what do you do? Oh, matrix.
Then do you put that one in with the RREF? The one you got with REF?
No, this is just the answer. This one just says to find the row echelon form.
Oh. So row echelon is REF and then
Reduced row
is
echelon.
RREF.
Wait, after you put.
Sometimes the book writes it row reduced echelon form instead of reduced row echelon form, but I've heard it both ways, and I always say reduced row,
What do
so
you do after you put the REF? Like, what button do I hit?
you have to put in the matrix like you were doing before.
So you go
Second matrix, and then select whichever one you put it in.
You just do the name.
I understand. Is that what yours looks like?
Let me see.
I can't write.
And then if it's a repeating decimal, just put the line that it's
Oh,
repeating.
no. I'm gonna have to plug in my calculator over there.
All right, and then for 22, okay, this one is a reduced row echelon form. That's what it tells you to find. This is a 4x5 matrix, or yeah, 4x5.
Oh goodness.
So 1, -2, 2, 1, 1, 3, -5, 6, 3, -1, -2, 4, -3, -2, 5, and then 3, -5, 6, 4, -3.
Good lord.
What? Did you get on the chemistry test?
72. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 5.
I didn't get 2 under this time. I got
It's a 4x5. Rows first, then columns.
Ariel did them.
What did I do?
Got 2 under to all.
Yeah, I did. Yes, please. You're welcome. But it's okay because my last report sucks. So.
I was 7, I think.
Alright, I'm just not gonna have an A in chemistry this quarter.
You got a 7?
No.
Oh, I was like,
I
I'm
got
sorry,
all
that
one
is
of
exactly
the
what I
7.
heard, and I was like,
I don't know. I think some people got super. I did really, really bad, but like, there's always worse. That's what I tell myself. Not to do.
So this one, don't forget you're doing RREF of this matrix.
How do you know? Does it tell you?
The instructions tell you.
Okay. That's good.
The one for 18 says find the row echelon form. This one says find the reduced row
Okay. Whoa, this looks weird.
echelon form.
I got it.
So I think I am gonna do the lab report. Actually write it.
Sounds horrible.
What'd you get on the lab report?
86.
What'd you get?
oh what?
Lab report.
What the heck?
This is so long.
I got the same thing. What a miracle.
Yeah, well, I would, because then it's an extra grade. Is it close? Because you just ended the test on grade.
I have not looked. I don't think it's gonna be close.
I'm not looking because I based it on for a while.
Matrix? Yeah. Yeah, this one.
I mean, even if I did it, it would bring me up to a high B. instead
That's
of
also
low
what mine
B.
looks like, also.
So, I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, well then if you got an A last semester, then maybe it'll balance out.
I got a low A last.
But the exam will help too.
Yeah,
Alright.
exam, and that's 20% of the grade, so literally, if you do good on
These
that.
are due Monday.